So we finally are at the final episode of Attack on Titan, the final season part 2. Or are we?
Shut up and sit down.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Reviews, and heavy spoilers for AOT episode 87, Dawn of Humanity. You've been warned. Now, if you don't know, that final season part 3 has officially been confirmed for 2023. Can't wait for that. But let's just talk about this episode and dive deep into the good. I love how the first and second half of this episode starts with monologues of Mikasa and Eren. How the entire atmosphere of both the first and second half are quite vastly different. Where when Mikasa monologues the opening sequence of Marley, everything's bright and vibrant and colourful, everyone is so happy and joyful, and there's just so much different things to explore and do. I love some of these funny comedic moments, but we haven't seen them in a long time, of Sasha going crazy over food. Our boy Levi being intimidated by the clown, and god, that was such a funny moment of him just trying to keep his cool. The scene when Ramsey's pickpocketing Sasha and then the scouts are trying to defend him, but the rest of the civilians are just absolutely judging him, and just seeing the way someone who's not even a subject of Ymira being treated by the rest of the world just makes the scouts just wonder, man, this is what life would be like if they were living on this part of the world. The scene with Lady Kiyomi was also really interesting with Armin, and both Hanji were so determined on trying to find a peaceful solution to end the conflict between Paradise Island and the rest of the world. But it doesn't go according to plan when they go to that council meeting, and you have that one guy saying that Eldians all around the world are just poor lost souls who were abandoned by the evil island devils, and how it looks like the rest of the world are in agreement that the island devils are at fault for the suffering of Eldians all around the world and they need to be punished. And then their reaction to Eren sending the letters to them was just, oh man, you really felt for them, particularly Hanji when she was just putting her hand on her head in that one scene. I love the moment where Eren's just crying as he's looking at Ramsey and just tearing, just getting emotional about how these people are suffering just like they did when they were young, but also of course having those future memories. I'm guessing he knows what's going to happen to these people because he's coming along this continent and just wrecking havoc, as we see towards the end of the episode. AOT does not dive into romance. Mikasa going red and Eren just absolutely glaring into her eyes, and she's just lost for words for the first time. She never really stutters in front of Eren, but this was definitely the first time we've ever seen Mikasa just lose her cool. The last happy moment of Eren just drinking with his friends, and that was the last time I think Eren smiled in the entire timeline of the show. Seeing Sasha once again and the gang just absolutely having fun, it's very wholesome, but at the same time very bittersweet. And then when the second half of the episode starts to begin, the whole atmosphere just completely changes from bright, colourful and hopeful and whimsical to this down and dreary tone and shift, especially with Eren and the way he's behaving, the way he's looking and talking to Flock like he's just going to destroy the enemies, and just the anger and rage and just hatred for the outside world that's just burning into his eyes. And even Flock looks pretty startled as he's looking at him. Historia finding out that Eren's going to do what he's going to do to the rest of the world, and the shock and look in her face, man. I kind of feel sorry for Historia in this moment, because to think all this time for the past couple of months, ever since the scouts went to the outside world, knowing this truth and just the guilt she must be feeling that Eren's going to do this no matter what and nothing's going to stop him. I find it interesting that he told his true plan to only Historia and Flock. I understand why he told Historia, because of course his dad was the one who killed her sister, and in a way he was the one who forced his dad to do what he had to do to destroy the race family, and I guess he sort of owes it to her that she of all people should know what he's truly thinking and going to do. As well as the great characterization of these guys, I also really love the colors and the visuals. Some of the backgrounds are just absolutely top tier. Some of the facial animations and the expressions just looked absolutely more expressive than what the manga did. I love the shot of when Eren was just with harness and he's running away from the Smiling Titan, and I loved how they really captured Isayama's artwork of that panel. This episode pretty much more or less confirms that Eren hasn't truly gone to the dark side of the Force, and he still cares for his friends. He just wants his friends to live long, happy lives. But man, there were some more intense scenes with just Eren as he's trying to gouge his eye out, and then him just ripping his leg off, and just the end where you have all those Malian soldiers just glaring at the Cluster Titans trying to take them down, but nothing can actually get in their way, and they're just coming, and just how they're just starting to run away, and then as they're turning around, and just the shock and fear on their face as they realize that the attack titan is approaching them. And man, Eren's new founding / Shingeki no Kyojin titan design looks bloody horrifying. It's really creepy, and I love the green eyes they added on such a grotesque looking design in a way. But despite all this positive I'm giving this episode, let's talk about the mixed aspect of this episode. I feel like it's just a personal little nitpick, but it's more of a me thing. I did want to see a little bit more of Flock and Aaron's conversation, and even him and his story. I thought maybe the anime would expand on that. I felt like it was really fast paced, and I thought maybe the anime would probably slow down on those scenes, but they pretty much kept the pacing more or less the same from the manga, but that's just a nitpick for me. And in terms of negatives, I will admit that some of the CGI Colossal Titans as they're swimming in the ocean did look a little bit janky at times. Not awful, but just little moments here and there, some little scenes that just didn't look quite as nice. But the designs of them as they're walking towards the Malian shore did look pretty nice. But overall, what a great way to end a final season part 2 in a way. And with the announcement that the final season part 3 will come out in 2023, man, there's more Shingeki no Kyojin greatness that's to come. And I think I'll give this episode a 9.5 out of 10 and yeah, overall this final season has been a pretty interesting season. It's really surprised me in certain areas in terms of the way they adapted certain scenes from the manga. I'll do a full review in a few days time, just breaking down what I liked and disliked about this part of the season, and of course I'll do some ranking videos of all the seasons so far, and definitely probably an episode ranking as well for every episode of the show so far. But tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you hyped for part 3 in 2023 or not? Tell me. Like, share for more AOT videos in terms of rankings, comparisons, breakdowns, reviews and more. But thank you for watching, and stay tuned for future AOT videos on this channel. Boarded Review signing out.